So Ankalaev versus Khalil Rountree just got booked, and I'm going to pick Ankalaev to beat Khalil Rountree here. I'm sorry. I know Khalil's a really dangerous test, and he is a little bit more tricky of a matchup than people give him credit for, but Khalil Rountree, when it comes to more high-level guys he has faced so far, he is not really doing the best. He is doing really well, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to like gritting down and like pushing against the opponent and getting the wins, he's not really doing that oftenly. The most high-level guy he beat so far was Jamal Hill with no knees and Anthony Smith, which is not really looked upon as a really good win. So that alone is not really looking that crazy when it comes to a resume standpoint. And even in his performances, he is having a little bit troublesome with like an Anthony Smith, which is not the best look. I already said that. And Anthony Smith was doing pretty decent in that matchup. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like before the knockout, he's actually putting the pause on Rountree. So, and that was Anthony Smith on short notice. Imagine a full camp Anthony Smith. Whew, we'd be living in a different world right now. You never know. Like Anthony Smith probably would have fought Alex Pereira. There's a world that actually happened. That would have been dope because there was hype for it. People forget the hype up matchup we never got to see. Anthony Smith versus Alex Pereira would have been dope. So Rountree kind of ruined that outcome, but he did beat Jamal Hill, which Jamal Hill is, he has no knees. I already said this. So it's kind of tough to really rank that win because I don't really know who Jamal Hill could really beat right now. Like he could maybe be a Ozdemir and then maybe Azamat maybe. Like these opponents are still tricky. Like Rakic would probably brutalize freaking Jamal Hill. You know, like I don't know how to rank that win that highly or even like I don't know how to level it really. So I can't really say much about the Jamal Hill win. And that's my biggest issue. Like I can't really say how good is Rountree other than the Alex Pereira performance where he did decent the first two, but then he lost that, he gassed out, and got finished in that fight, and that was Alex Pereira with the flu, so I don't know how much I could really take from that. And then with the Yuri loss, like, he was doing really well, but everybody does well against Yuri. Ozdemir was doing well against Yuri. Who wasn't doing well against Yuri before they lose? Like, I can't really rank that win that highly either. Everybody does well against Yuri early until, like, he finds the moment where he finishes you or you finish him. And he could not find that moment. And if you want to use the stylistic matchup in this matchup, there is a little bit there because they're both southpaws. I can see why it could be a little bit tricky some for Ankalaev. And I'm not going to act like this matchup is not dangerous at all. Like, I would worry for Ank in moments, especially early on, because Khalil, even though I could kind of make fun of him here and there, he is dangerous early, and he is a very explosive guy, and I can see why that would be troublesome for Ankalaev if he does pressure early, because we saw in his last fight, Ankalaev, that he didn't really do well when somebody pressured him against the fence early. He doesn't really have a game plan, and that's how he got finished. But that was Ankalaev with one rib, so I can't really use that example too much because he did have a broken rib, and that was not the same Ank we saw against Alex in the first fight. So I'm just saying here, if we're going to use injuries, he was injured in that fight. So maybe if Ank had more ribs, he probably would have done better. So I'm just saying there, because we saw in the first fight, Alex Pereira didn't really have much on the feet for Ankalaev, especially when it came to the hands. Like, the kickboxing wasn't drastically apart from each other, and you saw that in the first fight. And the only thing Alex really had was the leg kicks, and they weren't really that damaging to Ankalaev. So I'm just saying, man, Alex Pereira used to get glazed for his leg kicks, and he couldn't really do anything to Ankalaev in that situation. So I'm just saying, like, I can't really see Khalil using the leg kick game plan where he wasn't really doing it to, like, other opponents. He did do it against Hill, but he didn't do it against Yuri Prohaska. He didn't do it against Alex Pereira, really, but I can see why with Alex. But, like, I didn't understand why he didn't do it against Yuri. Like, you would expect him to kick his leg, especially when you saw freaking Rakic do it, you saw Alex Pereira do it, and he didn't do that game plan. Like, I would expect him, being a technical Muay Thai kickboxer or whatever, to be able to do that to Yuri Prohaska, and he was not doing that at all. He just kind of like stood with Yuri in boxing range, just kind of like boxed with him mostly. Like, he tried to move on the back foot, but I get it. Like, Yuri's a little bit more tricky some of a matchup. He's a hard dude to figure out because by the time you go for a leg kick, maybe he would get hit with a flying knee, or like Yuri would do like a weird elbow. I could see why it's very concerning for going to leg kicks with Yuri Prohaska. But again, I saw Rakic do it, and I saw Alex do it. So maybe his leg kicks are a little bit overrated, but at least a stomp here and there, like, he didn't really do that either. Like, I didn't really get, I don't know, maybe he abandoned it, maybe he was too worrisome, but I feel like he should have done that more. And that's why I don't really fear it coming from Rountree when I saw like Alex do it and he couldn't really do it. And if you want to use the Jan Blachowicz example, Jan Blachowicz is a different individual and he kicks shin to shin. And so unless freaking Rountree is built different, is willing to kick shin to shin, I can't really see where he's gonna freaking numb Ankalaev's legs, you know? Like, unless he does that, and I'm very, very confident he's not gonna do that because most people are not built like that and not willing to lose a leg like Jan Blachowicz is. So, unless he's willing to lose a leg or like not be able to walk on it well for a bit, then he might have a chance against Ankalaev, but I don't see him doing that. So I don't really think the leg kicks are really going to play that big of a factor. They can, but I don't really think that confidently. You know, I'm not really going to say like, oh, he's going to get his leg chopped up, but they could play a little bit of a factor. Maybe they can mix it up a bit, make it not as obvious, because if Khalil goes tit for tat with Ank, I feel like that's a bad move because I feel like Ank will win that battle. I know that's kind of a crazy statement to say, but like when Alex fought like that against Ank, he did really well and he was able to like land shots against Alex, and Alex didn't really have much when he didn't go forward. And you saw in the first and the second fight, what was the difference? He went first and he put a heavy pressure game. So Khalil has to do that. And if he doesn't do that, then I feel like this is kind of an easy pickings for Ankalaev here, because Khalil, when he doesn't do that, you saw in his Anthony Smith fight, you saw in the Dustin Kobe fight, he looks kind of mid when he doesn't do that. So he kind of has to risk gassing now in this matchup. Even though it's a 5-rounder, I know he's not going to do that. That's why I'm going to pick Ankalaev in this matchup, because I could rely on keeping that up for 5 rounds. I cannot rely Khalil Rountree just going tit for tat with Ankalaev, you know? Unless he tries to go for the finish and maybe he could pressure him against the cage. But even then, I feel like Ankalaev could still survive that and not worry too much, because Khalil Rountree, he does hit hard, but it's not Alex Pereira hard. It's not somebody that's going to put you out cold in like the first minute. Like, even like in his KOs, it takes like volume punches other than the Anthony Smith fight. Like, it takes a bit before he finishes you. That's why you saw him do for like those crazy kicks. He'll go to the body when somebody's on the ground. That's why like people talk about like he beat you like you owe him money. It takes that type of sequence, and I don't feel like Ank is gonna be in that sequence where he's gonna get finished. Like, maybe he could hurt him early, but I think Khalil's gonna let him recover a bit, and then like Ankalaev gets back into the groove, and then he kind of picks him apart for the next 3 rounds. Like, I think the first 2 rounds are gonna go for Khalil, especially if Ank doesn't grapple. That's another underutilized thing Ank could do. He could grapple in the matchup, but the striking's not going well for him. Like, I mean, you're gonna say like Ankalaev isn't a crazy grappler, but like other than Alex, he took literally everybody down except for like Rakic, and Rakic was trying to force the action, the grappling. It wasn't Ank. So I'm just saying here, it's a tricky matchup for Khalil. Even if it's not really going well for Ank on the feet, he will try to shoot, and I think he could mix it up. Going by, Khalil hasn't really faced a grappler since like Kutalaba. So I'm just saying there, and you saw what happened. So I'm gonna go Ankalaev, either finish him in round 4 or winning a decision victory here, like a 3-2 or maybe a 4-1 decision here. So that's pretty much it. I can't wait for the fight, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and that's pretty much it. God bless all of you, and that's it.